The town of Vassalboro once thrived around a woolen mill until it closed for good in the 50s.
So one resident bought the mill a few years ago, and he's again making it the center of town by hosting community events there. But the space came with some roommates, if you will. Our producers Frank Banfi and Emery Eisner met the Haunt Me team of paranormal investigators at the mill to see if there really could be ghosts there. And they even had a possible encounter with a mysterious entity only known as the Captain.
So I'm Ray Breton, living in North Vassalboro, and moved in town 1967. And so in 95 I bought the mill agent's house, which was connected to this mill building. The mill I had bought in 2010. So the mill's pretty active as far as the energy that's here, and they'll tell you who they are and what went on when you have paranormal groups come in for the night. Most of them make it through the night. There's a few that don't. Sometimes it gets a little creepy.
So we're back here in the Vassalboro Mills, which Haunt Me has a tradition of understanding that when we spend one night in a location, it's not fair for us to call it haunted or not. It is one moment in a vast history of a place's existence. We wanted to take into account the fact that people who come here time after time, their evidence is important too. So we give it a pre-rating, and then when we go in and we spend our one night, we give it a post-rating, a Haunt Me rating, and average those two together so that we're honoring the history of a place as well as including ourselves in our investigation in that. We rated it a 4 last time because it has so many stories, but a lot of what happens here seems to happen on the periphery. You can capture evidence here pretty easily. Like we've been doing tonight, we've been hearing quite a few things going on just away from our machines. So there is something happening here, but the way to rank it up, our rating, is when we start to make that human connection with someone who's passed on, and we can start to tell their story. Getting back into the rating system, we are in the Vassalboro Mills. Hello? So that would be the captain's type of MO. If you're asking about the captain, that is what kind of happens when you bring him up. Carol was asking if it's windy up there.
It doesn't seem that way.
Okay.
I just really want to make sure that nobody locked us in.
From having an experience with the entity that the owner of the mill calls the captain, we've actually interacted with him a couple times before. Just up the street is the mill agent house. So it was the foreman who ran this mill. His family would live over there for a period of time, much like the White House. And so I'm not sure where the captain comes from, but we were warned to be very, very respectful with this entity when we were over there doing our investigation before we had come here in our season. In recent years, he's been moving between basements, and that's where we are now. So that brought me to believe perhaps, that could be a moment, but we'll definitely have to ask more questions later to figure that out.
So that wasn't the end of the paranormal investigation at the Vassalboro Mill, though.
Coming up in our next half hour, see how the Haunt Me team will try to talk to the spirits at the mill. And if you're interested in seeing this place for yourself, the mill is hosting a Halloween event tonight starting at 5. That's a hard no for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All righty.